I must fetch this water whether that lazy goddess likes it or not.
Once upon a time in the village of Ayenre, there lived a woman named Moremi. She was known by all as the most beautiful woman the land had ever produced. People spoke of her face before they spoke of the weather. Children paused to stare when she passed, and men lowered their voices around her, as if beauty demanded respect. Moremi woke up before dawn every morning. While others slept, she sat upright on her mat and reached for her polished brass mirror. She studied her face closely, turning it left and right. "The night has not touched me," she said with satisfaction. She washed her body carefully with stored water and rubbed oil into her skin until it shone. "I will not allow dryness to claim me," she muttered. To Moremi, beauty was not just something to admire, it was power. Men brought her gifts without being asked. "Take this," one would say, offering meat or fruit. Women watched from a distance, some silent and some bitter. If looks could grow food, she would feed the whole village, one woman said. But despite her beauty, Moremi was very lazy. It was as though her beauty crippled her hands and legs. When it was time to go to farm, Moremi waved her hand in disgust. "The sun is too harsh," she said. "It will not ruin my skin." She turned to her cousin Shade, a quiet teenage girl. "You will go instead. Fetch water and firewood." Shade shifted nervously but obeyed her. Her husband Bamidele returned from hunting one evening with tired eyes. "The forest gives nothing anymore," he said. "We must endure together." But Moremi kept her eyes on her mirror. "Endurance does not protect beauty," she replied. "You must work harder or I will find someone better." As days went by, the village of Ayenre continued to decline. The drought grew worse by the day. The ground split open in long cracks that were wide enough to trap a foot. Yams rotted under the soil before they could be harvested. One morning, a farmer shouted, "My last crop has died," and kicked the dust in anger. By midday, the village drums called everyone to the shrine of the water goddess, Yemongun. Women came carrying children on their backs. Men argued as they walked. "This has never happened before," one farmer said. Another replied, "Someone has offended the gods." The crowd fell silent when Chief Priest Adekunle stepped forward. His face was hard, but his voice was steady. "Listen well," he said. "Yemongun, our water goddess, is resting. Her spirit has withdrawn into the sacred spring." A woman cried out, "Then how we will drink?" Adekunle raised his staff. "The spring is sealed. The water is no longer ordinary water. It has become holy brim, filled with her essence." Murmurs spread quickly among the crowd. "What does that mean?" a man asked. "It means death," another softly replies. Adekunle spoke again. "Anyone who goes into the river to fetch water during this time will face judgment directly from the goddess. No offering will save them, and no prayer will undo it." A mother pulled her child closer. "Do you hear that?" she whispered. "Do not go near the stream." Two farmers argued loudly. "So we should all die of thirst?" one said. "We should obey," the other replied. "Disobedience is worse." Moremi stood away from the others and watched the crowd. She shook her head and smiled to herself. "The goddess punishes people who steal or do wrong things," she said quietly. "They do not punish someone for being beautiful." That night, alone in her room, she touched her skin. It felt dry and tight. She rubbed oil into it, but the cracks remained the same. Her jaw tightened instantly. "I will not be ruined," she said angrily. "I can't allow my skin to crack and break simply because a lady goddess wants to sleep." That night, the heat refused to leave Moremi's body. She turned from side to side on her mat, but sleep did not come. Her skin burned as if the sun had followed her inside. She scratched her arms and felt rough patches beneath her fingers. "No," she cried. "This cannot be happening." She rubbed oil over her skin again, but the itching only grew worse. When the moon climbed higher, Moremi sat up. She reached for her wrapper and began to dress. The sound woke Shade, who was sleeping nearby. "Sister, where are you going?" Shade asked, looking shocked. "Go back to sleep," Moremi replied. Shade sat up immediately. "It is late. Where are you going with the clay pot? Don't tell me you're going to the stream. The elders warned us already. Please do not go outside." Moremi turned sharply. "You like seeing me suffer," she said. "You have always wanted what I have." Shade shook her head. "I only fear the goddess, my sister." But Moremi ignored her. She poured oil on her skin until it shone under the moonlight. She tied her waist beads carefully and looked at herself one last time. "Even in the darkness, I must remain myself," she said. She slipped out of the house and moved quietly through the village. Fires were out and doors were closed. She hid behind huts as she passed the shrine paths, waiting until Kunle and Ralph, the guards, turned their backs. Soon, she arrived at the spring. The water gave off a soft light and did not move at all. Moremi stopped and stood at the edge, breathing fast. "I will only stay for a moment," she said. After hesitating, she slowly lifted her foot and stepped into the water. The moment Moremi's foot entered the water, nothing moved. The spring stayed smooth and quiet. Moremi frowned. "Is this what they feared?" she said with a small laugh. She stepped in deeper, relief spreading across her face. Then something changed. The water closed around her ankle and held it firmly. It was not soft or flowing. It felt tight, like a hand gripped her leg. Moremi laughed again, trying to hide her fear. "You see," she said, "it is only water." But the hold became stronger. She tried to put her foot out and failed. Her smile disappeared immediately. The water climbed her leg slowly. A sharp pain spread through her skin. She looked down and screamed. Hard white crystals were forming where the water touched her body. "No, stop!" she cried. She pulled with all her strength, but her leg remained stuck. Moremi's chest tightened as a deep voice filled the space around her. It was everywhere and nowhere at once. "You entered what was sealed," the voice said. "You touched what was forbidden." Moremi cried out, "Great Yemogun, forgive me. I only wanted to wash my body. I did not mean to harm you." The water rose higher this time. Then the voice returned. "You placed your beauty above hunger, above fear, and above life itself." "My beauty is all I have," Moremi sobbed. "Take my offerings, take my gold, take my husband. I will give you anything." But the water did not answer. The pressure grew stronger. The water closed around her shoulders, her neck, her face. Her mouth opened in one final cry, but no sound came out. The spring fell silent again, leaving Moremi frozen where she stood, her body turning fully into salt as the goddess returned to rest. When the first light of morning entered the house, Shade sat up quickly. Moremi's mouth was still empty. "Wait, Moremi is not back yet?" Shade said, looking scared. Her heart began to race. She ran aside and met Bamidele cutting wood. "Bami, Shade is not home yet. She left at night. I tried to stop her, but she didn't listen to me." Bamidele did not answer. He crumbled his hunting spear and ran towards the river. "Moremi," he shouted as he moved through the village. Doors opened and people followed him. At the shrine path, the guards Kunle and Ralph stood frozen. "Do not go closer," Adekunle said, "Look at the ground." White powder covered the earth around the river. It crunched under their feet like a dry salt. Then they saw her. Moremi stood at the edge of the river, one hand stretched forward. Her body was white and rough, her skin hardened into coarse salt. Her eyes were wide open, fixed in fear. She looked alive and dead at the same time. Women began to scream. "Ah!" one cried, falling to her knees. Another covered her face and wailed. Chief priest Adekunle arrived and lifted his staff. "No one must touch her," he said firmly. As he spoke, the water in the spring slowly pulled inward, sinking deeper into the earth until only dry ground remained. But Moremi stood behind, standing alone. Adekunle turned to the crowd. "This is the judgment of Yemungun," he said. "Beauty has been preserved, but life is gone. Let this stand as a warning." 3 days after Moremi was found, light rain finally fell. It was not heavy, but it soaked the dust and softened the ground. People lifted their faces and whispered, "Yemungun has shown mercy." Small green shoots began to appear in some farms and hope returned slowly. But Moremi did not change. The elders gathered and tried everything they knew. Chief priest Adekunle poured libations and spoke prayer. "Let judgment end," he said, but nothing happened. Someone suggested breaking a piece of the statue. Adekunle refused. What the goddess has sealed must not be touched. Bamidele stopped leaving his house. When he did, his eyes were empty. One morning, he tied his bag and stood before Shade. "I cannot live where her eyes still watch me," he said. Shade tried to speak, but he turned away. He left the village without looking back. The statue became a place no one crossed freely. Mothers warned their children, "Do not stay too long. Do not laugh there." Traders passing through Ayere stopped to ask, "Is this where the woman became salt?" The story traveled far, changing with each telling, but the warning remained. Women no longer gathered to praise their looks. Mirrors were wrapped in clothes and stored away. Oil was used sparingly. When someone admired another too loudly, an elder would shout, "Enough of that." Shade grew older under these changes. She spoke less and listened more. She left the village years later to rebuild her life. Thanks for watching.
Let's go! Yes!
Get out! Leave now!